Hey NFL fans, before we dive into today's hottest stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update from NFL News Now. At US Bank Stadium, the atmosphere was electric long before kickoff. The defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles walked onto the field with something to prove, not just to their fans, not just to the NFL, but to themselves. After starting the season 4-0, and looking every bit the juggernaut that steamrolled its way to a title last season, Philadelphia suddenly hit turbulence. 2 straight losses, first a frustrating defeat to the Denver Broncos, then an even more disheartening one against division rival New York Giants, had the football world buzzing. Doubts started creeping in. Were the Eagles finally showing cracks? Was the magic gone? Head coach Nick Sirianni could feel it. His players could feel it. This week's 6 matchup against the Minnesota Vikings wasn't just another game. It was a gut-check moment. The kind of moment that defines whether a team is built for glory or destined for a slow crumble. And from the first snap, it was clear. Sirianni's team came to fight like champions again. From the jump, quarterback Jalen Hurts looked locked in. The composure, the precision, the fire, it all returned in full force. He wasn't just managing the game. He was dictating it. Every time the Vikings defense thought they had him contained, Hurts found a way to extend the play or deliver a dagger throw. He completed 19 of his 23 passes for a staggering 326 yards and 3 touchdowns, one of his most efficient performances in an Eagles uniform. It was as if all the frustration from the previous 2 weeks had been bottled up and unleashed in Minnesota. The chemistry between Hurts and wide receiver Devonta Smith was absolutely electric. Smith, smooth and surgical in his route running, looked unstoppable as he hauled in 9 catches for 183 yards and a touchdown. Each reception seemed to cut deeper into Minnesota's secondary, and each yard seemed to pull the Eagles closer back to the identity that had carried them to a championship. But make no mistake, this wasn't just about offensive fireworks. The Eagles' defense, heavily criticized in recent weeks for giving up big plays, made a statement of its own. Minnesota's offense, led by the ever-dangerous Kirk Cousins and superstar wideout Justin Jefferson, managed to move the ball with some rhythm. The problem? They couldn't finish drives. Again and again, the Vikings found themselves deep in Eagles territory, only to be stonewalled by a relentless defensive front and a secondary that refused to break. The Vikings entered the red zone 6 times. 6 opportunities to punch it in, 6 chances to shift momentum, 6 moments where the crowd held its breath. Yet they came away with just 1 touchdown, a 1-yard run by Jordan Mason late in the 3rd quarter. The rest of those trips ended with Will Reichard kicking field goals, 5 of them to be exact. One of the biggest defensive heroes of the night was second-year cornerback Cooper DeJean. His name might not yet carry the weight of the league's elite defenders, but performances like this one are how legends begin. DeJean tallied 8 tackles and delivered a play that could easily be the turning point of the game. In the 2nd quarter, with the Vikings threatening inside the 10-yard line, Cousins fired a perfect strike toward Jefferson in the corner of the end zone. It looked like 6 points, the kind of highlight that would swing momentum hard toward Minnesota. But DeJean had other ideas. With textbook timing and athleticism, he leapt and swatted the ball away at the last second, saving a touchdown and igniting the Eagles' sideline. Plays like that don't show up as much in the box score, but inside a locker room, they speak volumes. And speaking of the locker room, that's where the story took on another layer of emotion. When the final whistle blew and the scoreboard read 28-22 in favor of the Eagles, it wasn't just another win. It was a sigh of relief, a scream of defiance, and a rallying cry for what's ahead. Nick Sirianni, known for his fiery personality and emotional leadership, stormed down the tunnel like a man reborn. The look on his face told the entire story. Frustration giving way to euphoria, tension replaced by pride. As he reached the doorway of the locker room, the thump of music grew louder. That post-game soundtrack every team craves after a hard-fought victory. Without hesitation, Sirianni yelled out, "Turn that S*** up." The phrase instantly became a moment. The players erupted, the energy surged, and the echoes of that outburst will probably live in team lore for the rest of the season. Sirianni's raw emotion wasn't just about celebration. It was about validation. For 2 straight weeks, he'd heard the whispers, the doubts about his play calling, the second-guessing of his leadership, the questions about whether the Eagles' run had already peaked. That win in Minnesota wasn't just a mark in the standings. It was a reaffirmation of who the Eagles are and what they stand for. The same grit, the same swagger, the same heart that carried them to the mountaintop last year was still alive. This was the kind of victory that reminds everyone why football is as much about emotion as it is about execution. From a strategic standpoint, the Eagles' game plan was nearly flawless. Offensive coordinator Brian Johnson leaned heavily into tempo and play action, taking advantage of Hurts' mobility to keep Minnesota's pass rush off balance. The Vikings' defense looked confused at times, struggling to decide whether to commit to the run or drop deeper into coverage. That hesitation was all Hurts needed to exploit. His timing with Smith and Dallas Goedert was impeccable, and even the running game, which had been relatively quiet in the previous two losses, found some rhythm behind the physical running of DeAndre Swift. It wasn't about flashy runs or highlight plays. It was about control, about dictating pace and forcing Minnesota to chase. Defensively, coordinator Sean Desai's adjustments were just as crucial. The focus was clear: bend, but don't break. Let the Vikings move the ball between the 20s, but shut them down where it matters most. The red zone dominance wasn't a coincidence. It was the product of disciplined positioning and smart, situational play calling. Minnesota tried to test the edges with Jefferson and Tite and T.J. Hockenson, but the Eagles' safeties read the routes perfectly, closing windows just in time. Every field goal the Vikings settled for felt like a silent victory for Philadelphia. What stood out most, though, was the team's energy. For all the tactical talk, football at its core is emotional. And the Eagles' sideline was alive again. Players were flying around, celebrating every defensive stop, rallying around each other after every big gain. You could sense the unity that had seemed to waver over the past couple of weeks was back in full force. That matters, especially for a team with championship aspirations. The win pushes the Eagles to 5-2, keeping them firmly in the NFC playoff hunt and, more importantly, restoring their confidence. In the grand scheme of an NFL season, one October win doesn't decide a title, but this one felt different. It felt like a reminder to the entire league: the champs aren't going anywhere. The same coach who once screamed his way through an emotional playoff run is still the heartbeat of this team. The same quarterback who's faced every challenge with poise is still evolving into one of the league's best leaders. And the same defense that bends but rarely breaks still knows how to close out games when it matters most. As the players filed out of the locker room that night, the echoes of Sirianni's passionate shout still lingered. For a few moments, it wasn't about game stats or standings. It was about rediscovering who they were, a team defined by resilience, energy, and belief. The Eagles may have stumbled, but champions don't stay down for long. And if this game was any indication, Nick Sirianni's crew is far from finished writing their story. The message was clear, screamed loud enough to shake the walls of US Bank Stadium. The Eagles are back, and they're ready to fly again. Keep watching as we analyze more details about some rumors. Breaking news, folks, and you're not going to believe this one. The NFL world has just been turned upside down. It's official. A.J. Brown, yes, the electrifying wide receiver who has been tearing defenses apart and making impossible catches look effortless, has been traded from the Philadelphia Eagles. And let me tell you, this is not just any trade. This is the kind of move that sends shockwaves through the league, the kind of trade that fans are going to be talking about for years to come. I mean, we've seen blockbuster deals before, sure, but this is something entirely different. The Eagles, a team that has been steadily building around Jalen Hurts and a dynamic offensive core, have decided to part ways with one of their most explosive weapons, and the NFL is collectively gasping at the implications. The question on everyone's lips right now isn't just who did they trade him for, but why now? And what does this mean for the destiny of this team and the league at large? The timing is what makes this rumor feel more like a cinematic plot twist than a real-world transaction. Philadelphia has been looking like a team on the rise, a squad with championship aspirations, a team that seemed poised to make a deep playoff run. A.J. Brown has been the heartbeat of the Eagles' passing game, a player who could turn a standard drive into a highlight reel with a single catch, a player who could intimidate the league's best corners with just his presence on the field. And yet, in a move that feels equal parts shocking and calculated, the Eagles' front office has decided to make this trade now. Some insiders are whispering about contract negotiations and long-term cap space. Others about a philosophical shift in how the Eagles want to construct their offense. Whatever the true reason, one thing is clear. This is a seismic move that will be felt far beyond the confines of Lincoln Financial Field. Now, let's talk about the player himself, because this is not just a story about a team making a bold decision. It's about a superstar whose journey is about to enter a brand new chapter. A.J. Brown, known for his physical dominance, his uncanny ability to track the ball in the air, and his fearless play style, has been one of the most talked-about receivers in the NFL since he first arrived in the league. His combination of size, speed, and football IQ makes him a nightmare matchup for defenses, and his chemistry with Jalen Hurts was, by many accounts, one of the most exciting duos in football. Imagine the locker room reaction when the news hit. Imagine teammates who have shared countless grueling practices, road trips, and playoff battles suddenly processing that their dynamic playmaker is no longer in green. The ripple effect on team morale, on strategy, on the very identity of the Eagles' offense cannot be overstated. And if you thought the drama was confined to Philadelphia, think again. NFL fans everywhere are now glued to social media, dissecting every possible angle, theorizing about what this means for playoff scenarios, division battles, and even the Super Bowl picture. And let's be honest, this is the kind of trade that generates more questions than answers. Where will A.J. Brown land? Which team has made the bold enough move to acquire him? And what does that team's offense look like with this addition? Rumors are swirling like wildfire. Some say a powerhouse team in the NFC, desperate for that final piece to complete a championship puzzle, is circling like a hawk. Others speculate that an AFC contender, one that has been searching for a true game-breaking receiver to pair with their star quarterback, is the destination. The media is in absolute frenzy trying to parse out the logistics, trying to find the leaks that might hint at the true destination. But here's the kicker. Nothing is confirmed beyond the Eagles' willingness to move Brown, and that, my friends, is enough to send the league into chaos. Draft strategies will be reconsidered, trade chips will be recalibrated, and suddenly every team within shouting distance of the playoffs has a reason to rethink their offensive philosophy. Fans, too, are in a state of disbelief, and reactions are coming in fast and furious. Social media timelines are flooded with disbelief, shock, memes, and heated debates. Some Eagles fans are devastated, unable to reconcile the idea of losing a player who has delivered so many unforgettable moments, who has seemed untouchable in his consistency and performance. Others are cautiously optimistic, trusting the front office to have a grander strategy in mind, wondering if this trade is setting the stage for a bigger move that could elevate the team to a level even Brown could not take them. And for neutral observers, for fans of the NFL at large, this is pure entertainment, the kind of shakeup that makes the sport feel alive, unpredictable, and utterly fascinating. The whispers, the speculation, the half-truths, all of it is feeding a narrative that the league thrives on, the narrative that keeps fans talking, debating, and coming back week after week. What makes this even juicier is the timing in the season. Teams are starting to think about positioning for the playoffs, about fine-tuning their rosters, about making that one strategic move that could tip the balance in their favor. A.J. Brown is not just any player. He is a weapon, a potential game-changer, someone who can alter the trajectory of a season with a single explosive play. The potential landing spots are becoming a topic of endless debate. Analysts are going back and forth, dissecting which offenses could maximize his talents, which quarterbacks can develop immediate chemistry with him, which coaching philosophies can integrate him seamlessly without disrupting existing schemes. And of course, every potential trade scenario carries with it layers of intrigue. Draft picks, player exchanges, salary cap implications, and even locker room dynamics. This isn't just a trade. It's a chess move on a league-wide scale. And then there's the human element, the personal journey of A.J. Brown himself. Imagine the whirlwind he's experiencing, from the comfort of a familiar city, with teammates and coaches he knows intimately, to the uncertainty of packing up and moving to a new team, a new system, new fans, and a new set of expectations. How will he adapt? How will he handle the media spotlight, the inevitable scrutiny, the pressure to perform immediately? For a player of Brown's caliber, the challenge is exciting, almost invigorating, but it's not without its hurdles. Every move is magnified. Every drop becomes a headline. Every touchdown a validation of the gamble taken by his new team. And for the league, this trade is more than just a transaction. It's a story, a drama unfolding in real time, with narratives branching out in every direction. So here we are, standing on the edge of what could be one of the most consequential trades of the decade. The Eagles have made their move, the NFL world is buzzing, and the questions are multiplying faster than we can track them. Will A.J. Brown redefine his new team's offense? Will Philadelphia regret this bold decision? Or is there a master plan unfolding behind the scenes? How will other teams react? Will this spark a flurry of trades, a domino effect that reshapes the league landscape as we know it? The speculation alone is intoxicating, and the answer to these questions will unfold in real time, week by week, play by play. One thing is for certain, the NFL is a different place today than it was yesterday, and the ripple effects of this blockbuster move are only just beginning. Whether you're an Eagles fan, a Brown fan, or just a fan of the sport in general, one thing is undeniable. The story is far from over, and the drama is just heating up. And that, my friends, is why trades like this are what make the NFL such a thrilling spectacle. It's not just about the XS and OS on the field. It's about the human stories, the strategic gambles, the rumors and counter-rumors that dominate the conversation for weeks. A.J. Brown's trade is more than a headline. It's a seismic event, a narrative shift that will be dissected endlessly by analysts, debated endlessly by fans, and remembered as a turning point for whatever team lands him. The league has been shocked, the fans are reeling, and the story of this trade will be written in the highlight reels and discussion threads for a long time to come. Whether this proves to be a stroke of genius or a controversial misstep, there's no denying that it has captured the imagination of the entire football world. And in the NFL, imagination, hype, and drama are just as important as yards, touchdowns, and rings. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow NFL fans. Stay tuned for more updates, only here on NFL News Now.